Well, this year, Edward Snowden became a household name after he revealed secrets of the National Security Agency. The most talked about detail was the agency collecting our phone records. Opponents questioned the legality, saying this was a violation of the Fourth Amendment prohibiting illegal search and seizures. But supporters say this is warranted in the name of protecting Americans from terrorists. Between judges going back and forth on the legality of phone records collection, all signs are pointing to this issue will have to be decided in the Supreme Court. Joining us live in the newsroom now, Fox 26 legal analyst Chris Tritico, Fox 26 news analyst Mustafa Tamiz, and public policy analyst Jackie Bally. Have you guys ever made a New Year's resolution?
I have.
Really? I don't think I've ever made one.
My New Year's
to say social media.
Say social media every time. My New Year's resolution is to never, ever make one again.
Oh, hey, that's a good one. I might
started
try
that 10 years ago and it's working. This was my pick, the NSA, as the top story of the year because, in my view, this is the greatest assault on the Bill of Rights that we've had in a very, very long time. The Bill of Rights was written and drafted and enacted because those are the things in the Bill of Rights that the King of England was doing to us before we got our freedom during the Revolution. And to sit back and watch our government do the same thing now that we objected to 225 plus years ago, to me, is the biggest story of the year. And this is not something that's likely to go away. I've been speaking out against this since the Patriot Act was passed. I said then and I say now that the Patriot Act is one of the worst bills ever enacted by Congress. It was done in haste, it was done out of fear, and it gave away very important constitutional rights and ceded them over to the government that we may never get back. What we're learning about the NSA is not just that they've been collecting phone data, which was authorized over 50 years ago, but that they're collecting that data and using it against us and turning it over to local prosecutors. That's the part that I object to. That's the part that I think is the gross deprivation of our rights. The Fourth Amendment protects us from this type of activity by our government, and it's offensive to me, and it should be offensive to every American that our country is using these tools against us without following the law. Was that strong enough, Jackie Bally?
I concur with you 100%. It is a definite assault to all Americans, to the citizens. Whenever we were told that there was a healthy balance between privacy and security, that is not correct. The judge who just said that this was the legal parameter of the law, I think that's an extreme broad interpretation of our existing laws. Most Americans, if not all Americans, are deeply insulted that Big Brother is watching us to the extent that they are, and they're using the excuse of security as the reason to do it. There's too much information at this point that they've gathered, because if we're really focused only on terrorism, if we're really looking only at security, the type of information that they are gathering and continue to gather would not be the information that they need for that purpose. So yes, I concur with everything that you've just said. It goes against our rights, and as Americans, we are demanding that something be done.
You know, Mustafa Tamiz, the Patriot Act was passed to suppress terrorism in the United States, and that's still the argument. The New York judge just said this was constitutional because of the ability of the government to suppress terrorism. Not one act of terrorism has ever been tied to the NSA program. In other words, stopping terrorism has been tied to this NSA program. What's the purpose?
Well, we've gone from a industrial military complex to a national security complex, and that's what's happening. Enormous amount of money is being spent. It's clandestine money, so even on the budgets, we don't know exactly what they're being spent. And so once you start allocating those kind of resources, people that are getting them will fight for it. So, you know, the sad part about this, as Americans, we talk about it, but we haven't done anything about it. We're not holding our elected officials accountable, both Democrat and Republican, because this is not a partisan issue.
This is a bipartisan issue.
This is a bipartisan thing. And when Patriot Act passed the first time, and then the second time again, it was bipartisan numbers. And so there's this sense amongst members of Congress that in order to be patriotic, you know, you talk about national security, but you know, two patriots talk about liberty. And I think that's what we have to change our conversation to.
All right, let me go to Domily. She's monitoring our social media accounts, and this always gets us some pretty good hits.
Exactly. You know, and on social media, so many people are saying that they're torn, and they're wondering, you know, does Big Brother have to watch to keep everyone safe?
Well, and that's the question. Don't put a camera in my bedroom and then tell me I'm free. And that's really what this is all about, Jackie Bally, is the government more and more every day is intruding into our private lives and saying we're doing this to make you free.
Yes, it's extremely invasive. They don't have to know every single email. They're looking at even our library book checkouts.
Right.
The
movies.
The amount of information that they're gathering based on the premise that they're trying to keep us more safe and secure, it's not true. It's too much. It's invasive. The president has said that he and his administration are going to look at some reforms to make it more apparent, transparent, and so that and not as invasive. And I think that's a healthy start. But I don't know if he's actually going to follow up with that.
And real quick, can the president get that through? I mean, real quick.
Look, it'd be great if we had a president that was a constitutional lawyer or something. That might have helped. Oh, I forgot, we do have one, and he's not doing his job.
All right, we're going to have to leave it right there. We'll be back in the next hour, and we'll talk about Mustafa and Jackie's picks for the top stories of the year.
I can't wait to hear them. Thanks so much, guys.